Hello, Rebecca.
Hello, Father. And good evening to our shallow friends.
And welcome to a long-awaited episode of The Shallow End.
I don't think it's long awaited.
I think it is. I think we claimed we were going to do this every week after our new schedule.
Right,
and
we have to
that's
announce.
not reasonable.
We have to announce a schedule change.
Yeah.
We're gonna do every 2 weeks.
Ish.
I think we can stick to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We stuck to every week for a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's
just too much.
It was kind of a lot, yeah.
Rebecca's life is very busy now.
My life is chaotic, and when I get home, I'm like,
Brain needs
I'd like
break.
to be done.
Yeah, brain needs break.
But it's a Saturday night.
Yep.
We're in person again, which is always fun and exciting. And we have some wine.
We are enjoying a beautiful bottle of Maramiero Dama.
Yep.
2022. Again, courtesy of our dear friend, Polly-on Wine.
Polly-on Wine. It's a beautiful, crisp white.
Yeah. Italian white.
Just like me.
Oh. Check your racism.
I am an Italian white.
Also, it looks to be...
oh, mine has
is it
bubbly.
bubbles?
It's
okay.
bubbly.
I
It's
thought
not,
it might
it's
have
not
been
sediment.
crystals.
No. No, it's bubbles.
Okay. Well. So,
All right.
I threw a little curveball at you this week.
You did.
And
freaked me out.
And by that, it didn't freak you out. You said you were okay with it.
I am okay with it. I was being dramatic.
So Rebecca shared an article with me this week, and I am fully prepared to discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
But toddler that I am, I did not share an article with Rebecca, and I am just going to make her experience it in real time.
I'm becoming more and more afraid as the time creeps closer for this event.
I believe that you will enjoy it.
I believe too. And also when you said you don't have to read it ahead of time, I was like, great, awesome, check that off my to-do list.
All right, but because mine is going to be a little bit more chaotic, we're going to
start with mine again.
Kick it off with yours.
And characteristically, mine is pretty serious and
fairly short.
Fairly short, yes, but serious and controversial. I think it has the potential to be controversial.
Sure.
I don't think our conversation will be controversial because we're able to talk about these kinds of things without making it weird. But
yeah,
I think by default it is. So
I would agree.
My article is a New York Times article. I don't remember what it's called.
The title, from what I see, the title is like, it's kind of just the first sentence. At this moment in Christian history, American men and women are on divergent paths.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So my article is about how young men, apparently, are now being reported as more religious than women, which is the first time in modern history that has been true. And the article goes into like some detail about it, but not this article feels different from the others that we've read because it feels like there isn't really an author, like there isn't really a personality behind the reporting.
Right.
Whereas like with the other articles we've read, it feels like we're in conversation with a person.
Right. There's been some personality
There
involved.
have been some strong personalities. So
well, I think that if we go deeper into this article, I think you're going to find that there is some personality.
Yes, there's definitely personality. I would love to hear your first impression.
She just kicks it off by referring to a church in Waco, Texas.
Oh yeah.
Like we're going to talk about the history and the path of Christianity in America, and we're going to choose Waco, Texas.
I was also shocked about that. Like it seemed like she chose a location that would be the most divided. Like if you were to pluck a church community out of the U.S., that one would be the most. Yeah,
you're choosing a Southern Baptist church on a campus in Waco, where I know anytime people say Waco, Texas, I think of crazy Christians and the FBI blowing holes in the compound wall.
I also think that way.
We're starting off on a kind of a zinger note, but And then I gotta just say this, like, she's talking about this church. This is paragraph 2.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, she's talking about Grace Church in Waco, Texas. Men greeted visitors at the door, manned the information table,
Ha!
and handed out bulletins. See, I mean, you know, she wrote that and was like,
She did
That's
a
pretty
little, she did a
clever.
little chuckle to herself,
Yeah.
and I respect that.
yeah, no,
Good for her.
I'm good with it.
Put a pun in there.
Yeah.
Do it, girl. Yeah. So, what are your first impressions when you read this
I think
article?
let me just put it this way. Everything, as I read this article, all of the cultural elements that she brings up to sort of explain why men are more, there are more men in the pews than women.
Yeah.
They all made sense to me.
Yes.
And notably, at no point did she say there are more men in total. She just said that the women have fled.
Yes.
The proportion
the young
is off.
women.
The young women have fled.
The proportion is off. Yeah.
Eh,
So
yeah.
I thought it was interesting because I agree with you that the reasons she posits, I'm like, yeah, that all tracks.
Yep.
But then she quotes some of these people that she's interviewing, and the shit that they're saying,
Mm-hmm.
like, I had to put this down and be like, I can't be so angry at this person right now. I can't exert energy caring about what this person thinks.
What is the
like-
22-year-old in Waco looking for?
Oh my god.
Trad wife.
There's this, hang on. Actually, this one I'm going to read in its entirety. It's not long, but hang on. I was in a mood when I was annotating this, and it's kind of like the comments here
Doing
are
rage notes.
kind of bitchy. So let me also filter out some of this stuff. Okay. So this is when they interview. Prepare yourself for this name. Kitron
Oh yeah.
Ferrier?
Yeah.
Kitron Ferrier.
Yeah, you got it.
Who's a senior at Baylor University in Waco. So he is, okay. But we'll get back to that. He says, following Jesus is difficult, Mr. Ferrier said. Quote, it's about denying yourself and denying the lust of the flesh, he said. He appreciates a church like Hope, where leaders are frank about the intensity of the self-sacrifice he sees as a requirement for the Christian faith. Then he says again, quote, young men are attracted to harder truths. Would you like to know what I annotated this with?
Oh, please. And I'll tell you what mine is.
Girl, what?
Yeah, so I did highlight that last line, young men are attracted to harder truths. First of all, I once was a young man. Fake news, kids. We don't want the harder truth.
What the fuck are you talking about?
But also, so I just said, are they?
Right, that was...
Are young women not? Like,
Okay. I wrote, are they? Question mark. Not in this one, but earlier. Where they're talking about... Okay, this is an earlier paragraph where it starts with, young men have different concerns. And that's after talking about... Okay, I'll read the whole paragraph. It says, young women are still spiritual and seeking, according to surveys of religious life. But they came of age as the hashtag #MeToo movement opened a national conversation about sexual harassment and gender-based abuse, which inspired widespread exposures of abuse in church settings under the hashtag #ChurchToo. And the overturning of Roe v. Wade in 2022 compelled many of them to begin paying closer attention to reproductive rights. Next paragraph, young men have different concerns. And I said, do they? Are they not also concerned about this stuff?
You would think, especially the young Christian men.
Hello?
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, I mean, if you believe what you claim to believe, then you should probably be concerned about the treatment of women, right?
My goodness, yeah.
But I mean, in that one, okay, I gotta back you up real quick. We're gonna bounce around. I know we're gonna bounce around, but
yeah.
As I have to both represent and absolutely crush my my trade, not really current trade, but my educational background as a political scientist. There is there's a little bit of a discussion of a survey that was kind of just tracking how Gen Z is compared to others, and it basically says that there are more more Gen Z women describing themselves as unaffiliated religiously than men, and that's kind of like the whole hook of the article. This is for the first time ever, and in every other age group, the male cohort was more likely to be unaffiliated. Okay, so that's great, but then it says this tracks with research that has shown that women have been consistently more religious than men. A finding so reliable that some scholars have characterized it as something like a universal human truth.
I highlighted that too.
I just have to say, if you as a social scientist believe that there's a universal human truth,
categorizing anything as a universal human
you
truth?
have missed the entire plot. The only reason we study human behavior like this and survey it is to realize when changes are happening. You want to see universal human truths about gender from the 1960s? I wonder if those would play out the same way today.
There's so much that affects these quote universal human
Yeah.
truths that the second you start digging, it's like you can't ever prove something true in science. Like, you can prove something false, but how are you able to say this is true 100% of the time? Have you tested every...
Well, right. And
Like-
also, in something squishy like social sciences,
Especially then, yeah.
it's like if you put out that you think this is a universal human truth, you are now skewing all the research.
And you're also begging people to prove you wrong.
Well, that's fine. Do it.
Yeah. But, okay,
Anyway.
right underneath that, though,
Mm-hmm.
is this tiny little one sentence.
Mm-hmm.
The men and women of Gen Z are also on divergent trajectories in almost every facet of their lives, including education, sexuality, and spirituality, which I think makes it a bigger conversation
I agree.
than just religion. But that's not,
Right.
that's,
But and there's a further point about how men are now, on balance, less educated than female peers, and she even puts in major cities, men earn less than their,
which is interesting. So I read that, and I followed that link to go read that article, because I was like, really? Interesting. And...
It's because they like harder truths, Rebecca.
It's because they like harder truths, and they're ready to suffer and feel the, quote, wrath of God. Oh my God. When he said that, you want to know what I annotated that with? He goes, sometimes, this is the same person, what is his name? Kitron? That's so dumb.
Kitron Farrier.
He says, sometimes he wants to hear messages with a little wrath of God in them. And I annotated this with, seek help.
Or
go
just,
to therapy.
Or just go read your Bible.
What are you
There's
talking
plenty
about?
of wrath of God in the Bible. Just go read your Bible.
You want to hear that?
I don't know why you would.
Gosh.
But, there's also...
What a freak.
Yeah, there's also, the whole... the underlying current here is the men of Gen Z are ticking more right-wing traditionalist than the women.
So, yes.
And hey, boys, good luck.
Yeah, okay.
You better catch up with your girls.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here's one that I annotated that I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
Because this is about our bestie Kitron again.
Yeah.
He's 21. He reports that he attends 2 services on most Sundays. I had an immediate first impression and first thought when I read that.
Captain Tryhard?
My immediate thought... Actually, I don't want to tell you mine. I would like to hear yours first, because we have differing opinions
I think...
on religion.
Yeah, I mean, my first instinct there was that he's virtue signaling.
Okay, because my immediate thought was, I don't think you're going for the right reason, my dude. If you're going twice in one day, reliably, it's like you're going to socialize.
Well, yeah. I'm not sure I'm going to wind up in the end being a huge fan of Mr. Kitron.
Kitron is crazy.
I did the whole thing with that name. Like, I tried to look at it backwards.
Yeah, like
to see if it made any sense.
Is there a reason he's named this?
Nordic.
Well, okay. So my thought here, immediate thought was, after I read this article, was and she talks about this in the article, she says it's not that women are less, like, actually less religious, it's that they don't attend organized religious...
They still...
like, services.
Right.
But
they still consider themselves spiritual. Yeah.
And, like, they even interview a girl at the end that's like, I think she's going to be a pastor, right?
She felt the call to...
And she said...
being a pastor. Yeah.
She said, like... Maybe it's a different girl, but she says, I still believe in God and Jesus and all that stuff, but I can't in good faith call myself like a Christian or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, well, I mean, you think about how she was responding to different questions, and then you can contrast it with some of these with the guys that she interviews.
These yahoos.
Yeah, well, I gotta share this one. This is, well, she didn't really tell us. There's two. She's talking to two brothers, two of a set of triplets, the Parks boys, and he just came right out and said, "Hey, I want to be the sole provider, if that's what she wants."
That's what she wants. And
and it's like, you have no problem with your wife working outside the home, like he's bestowing that
working
upon
outside
her.
the home is like
Yeah.
I have no problem with it. It's like, well,
Yeah.
that's enough.
But then, yeah, and then
I could get really
she
into
goes
this,
into
but...
she goes into the Southern Baptist Convention, and obviously we come from a faith background of Catholicism where there is quite a bit of I wouldn't say it's necessarily similar. I think in terms of the way that things are preached.
I agree with that. I think.
But the rules are still the rules.
The rules are the same, but it feels like, at least with Catholicism, in my experience growing up and being like, this doesn't seem to be a place that I fit in. When I would ask questions, the answers were usually like, there were always answers, but they felt more of like this is a decree passed down from long ago. Whereas with like the more modern and more, I would say, aggressively bigoted churches, such as like the Baptist churches, are more ready to say like, no, women don't belong in leadership roles. Whereas like the Catholic Church is like, Jesus was our first priest, and so we're just so we're just like following along in that tradition, which is passed down from history. Like it's less.
And the church has Catholic Church has a rich history of women serving in important roles and doing important things. There's plenty of...
Yes.
So,
but you still can't say it's equal.
No, I don't know.
Like, that's still, like...
But I'm a guy, so I don't need to worry about it being equal.
Yeah, so you're fine.
I want to point this one out, because you're talking exactly about that. Like, that there's this much more... distinctly recent decision to make this be the case.
And like pervasive belief. I feel like in Catholicism, more people are ready and willing to be like, well, I mean,
it's the history.
It's just the way it goes, I guess. Like they're not gonna be.
So this is from back to this article. She's talking about the Southern Baptist Convention and others. She says arguments in other Christian institutions about women's roles have been raging for decades. Some churches have cracked down in recent years on practices like women speaking from the pulpit. And I just highlighted cracked down.
And practices.
Yeah, but like these are weird terms. These are weird decisions for the phrasing. You think churches are like, that makes them sound militant.
Right, yeah, cracked down makes it sound like it's like an attack on crime. Like,
yeah,
we're going to bring control back to our city.
I did like the little statement of power that she does right after that. Like, young women, it seems, are moving past the debates and out the church doors.
Dude, it's so funny.
Like, I wonder why.
I just enjoy that we're at the point now where research is being done about women just being like, actually, fuck this. Like, if you don't want us here, all right,
Yeah, bye.
we're out of here.
Yeah.
Like, we're done trying to fight.
We were mostly doing this for you guys.
Yeah, right? Oh my gosh. Wait, there's a point right at the beginning. I was really in a mood when I was annotating this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Okay. There's this right at the beginning where she goes, okay, maybe not. Where is it? Oh, here it is. She's interviewing the editor of Christianity Today. What is this?
It's a magazine.
A magazine?
Yeah.
Where he says, I'm not sure what church life looks like with the decreasing presence of women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I highlighted
He
this.
said, pointing out that they historically have been crucial forces in missionary work and volunteering.
We need both spiritual mothers and spiritual fathers. Interesting that you say that while the Southern Baptist Convention is saying women can't even be on.
Exactly. Interesting that you say that, because that tells me a lot about what you perceive the role of a mother to be. Because
right.
That sounds like you want mothers to be the silent and almost unseen workforce behind the curtain.
Submit graciously to your husband.
Performance that the men are putting on, where
Right?
they all are like being the important in charge people. But the women are important to do the work behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like infuriating that
Yes.
that's what they're mourning the loss of.
Right. Well, I mean, as we're getting closer to the end of this article, I just there was this one. I'm wondering if you noticed this, and there was one reference to a book written by a woman who is a historian at Baylor, and the book is called "The Making of Biblical Womanhood: How the Subjugation of Women Became Gospel Truth." And I highlighted that, like, ooh, that could probably be a really interesting read.
Like maybe a little book club.
Yeah. So yeah, I do think. By the way, we just right towards the end we get introduced to another epic Waco name, Greer Rutt.
I read that. I was like, I don't know the gender of this person.
Well, then you find out
It's a woman.
This is a woman.
Greer
whose parents hate her
Rutt.
because they named her Greer Rutt.
Gosh.
And do you know what to rut means?
I do know what to rut means.
Good.
In the animalistic
Perhaps to
sense.
rut in the rear is a Greer Rutt.
We're ending this episode right here.
Nope.
Thank you for listening. But
wild.
this line that Miss Rutt says reminded me of Mom.
Oh, really?
Where she says, I thought it was my mind wanting to rebel for the longest time. But now I think it wasn't rebellion. It was God saying, this is truth. This is how I made women.
I think that's like the mic drop line from this entire article.
I agree.
Like, you guys better, like I said before, you better catch up with the girls because they have their shit together.
They're like fathoms ahead of you right now.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Well, and that it also, way back towards the beginning of the article, one of the pastors at this church in Waco says that they've been talking about why are there more men than women in the congregation now, and he said, what's the Lord doing? Why is he sending us all these young men? And I highlighted that and wrote, well, maybe it ain't him doing that.
Okay.
Maybe you're just putting out a product that's attractive to...
Maybe the messaging that you are broadcasting... Okay, because this is something I highlighted. Would you like to see what I annotated it with?
Just...
What? In all caps. This is the quote. For some men he counsels, some dude who leads a ministry at a university. For some young men he counsels, Christianity is perceived as one institution that isn't initially and formally skeptical of them as a class.
Yeah.
Especially in the campus setting. Hey guys. Hey young white men. Hey guys. You aren't the persecuted ones here.
Just watch how quick they try to flip the script.
Oh my gosh. Just because people are suddenly looking at like groups of people that aren't just you doesn't mean, oh my gosh. They act like they're like, we have no safe spaces anymore. So we have to form them in this traditionally pretty sexist and horrible, like, organization because it's the one place we're safe and welcomed and we feel safe here. It's like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Also, I mean, that quote finishes with him saying, we're telling them you are meant to live a meaningful life. And that, like, if you're telling me that message is what's attracting young men, that message should be attracting everybody, right?
Sure. Have a meaningful life.
Have a meaningful life. So something else is going on
right.
here.
Let me show you a path for it. And I just want to go back to my, statistics can be hard. But if you had 100 people in the pews and 60 of them were women and 40 of them were men,
right.
And now you have 50 people in the pews and 35 of them are men and 15 are women, you're on a sinking ship.
Maybe let's not count chairs
and also,
on the deck of the Titanic
right.
here.
And also, let's not suddenly start coding everything to be pro-male. Like, what do...
That's such a good point. Sometimes I feel like we get so in the weeds with, like, trying to be aware of the optics of something that we're, like, you said something to Mom, I think months ago, that I've been repeating to people often.
Oh, shoot.
I know. Get ready. You said, you're creating problems by finding solutions. And I was like, that's bars. I'm using that. But sometimes I feel like that's what we're doing.
Yeah. My line is that's a solution in search of a problem.
In search of a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like we're so hyper skeptical that we're making problems where maybe there aren't any. I don't know. Like,
well, I think that this article proves that there are
situation,
problems in a lot of churches.
I would say this is a problem. I mean, for sure. But I'm talking in a broader sense.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I think you're right.
Like these, like when we're trying to be so inclusive that we're drawing walls between groups of people,
Totally artificial walls.
Totally artificial walls. Like, you're not being inclusive. You're driving people apart by pointing out the differences rather than emphasizing the similarities.
Yeah, and especially when you're talking about a church community where it's supposed to be like we're going to break down those walls.
Exactly. We have so much more in common than we have.
Yeah.
Different. Like, why are we? Yeah. I have a frustration with that.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to vent.
Thank you.
And release the hounds there. That was.
I mean.
That was a lot. That was tough.
Was that hard for you, Dad?
No, it wasn't. As is typical, I don't know that we certainly don't have full agreement on religion as an overall topic, but we kind of had the same
reaction
vibe on that article.
I assumed we would. Yeah. That felt like something that you would also read and be like, what the hell?
Yep, pretty much.
Okay. So, I am excited.
All right. Yeah, so we're going to move into phase 2 here. And all right. Strap in, everybody. This one's going to be a doozy.
Will you refill my wine?
You can.
I'll refill my You refill my wine.
Rebecca, we're going to play a game.
Oh, God. Okay.
I know what a huge history buff you are. Right?
Actually,
you know a bunch of history.
This morning, I started a 4-hour podcast episode about the king of Persia.
Ooh.
It's been interesting so far.
Okay, good. Well, hang in there. 4 hours.
Thank you. It's actually part 1.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Who is the king of Persia? she shrugs.
I'm only 45 minutes in.
Okay. All right. So this is me riffing on an article, kind of more like a blog post that I found. And it is called The History of the World According to Student Bloopers.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to read a paragraph to you.
Okay.
And then you are going to try and call out all the errors in there. And I'm going to score you.
Okay. I'm going to do horribly.
I'm not sure.
I think I'll do badly.
I'm not sure. And over the course of all of these paragraphs, you will just add up, and we'll see whether you get a passing grade or
Oh,
not.
wonderful.
And I might have some thoughts.
I'm
on
gonna
some
get
of
pretty
these.
intense about this.
Yeah.
Just so
Okay.
You know.
All right. So we're going to start
Okay.
in ancient Egypt.
Oh God.
You
Okay.
ready?
Yeah.
The inhabitants of ancient Egypt were called mummies. They lived in the Sahara Desert and traveled by Camelot. The climate of the Sahara is such that the inhabitants have to live elsewhere. So certain areas of the desert are cultivated by irrigation. The Egyptians built the pyramids in the shape of a huge triangular cube. The pyramids are a range of mountains between France and Spain.
The pyramids
Yep.
are a range of mountains.
Yep. So, can you remember how many errors there were in there? Call them out.
I don't know if I can remember the number. Okay, wait. So the inhabitants of Egypt are mummies.
Mummies, yeah,
Mummies.
yeah.
That is not true. They are
They were not.
Egyptians. I heard desert at one point.
Yep.
Desert. What did they call the desert?
The Sahara Desert.
The Sahara Desert.
What's it really? Yeah. It rang false to you, though, didn't it?
I knew it was wrong.
That would be the Sahara.
Sahara Desert.
So, yeah, we're going to give you credit for that one.
I knew it was wrong, but I didn't know what it was.
How did they travel, Rebecca?
They traveled by Camelot.
Yeah.
I would say camels is what they meant to say.
Or they traveled by camel a lot.
A lot, yeah. But also, the climate of the desert is such that nobody can actually live there.
Right?
But
so they had to live
there.
somewhere
But
else.
they live there. But they have to live somewhere else
No,
also.
yeah.
What
How did they
follows?
cultivate the desert?
Oh, irrigation.
The desert.
The desert.
Yeah, okay.
Irrigation, I assume.
Right.
Okay, what's next?
The Egyptians built the pyramids in the shape of a huge triangular
Huge
cube.
triangular cube. I assume they mean pyramid.
Yep, it's its own shape, isn't it? It's its own volume.
That's why we call it that.
Okay.
And it's I think they mean the Pyrenees.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, you just nailed it. 8 out of 8 on the
Yes.
first paragraph. We're off to a roaring
100%,
start. All right.
4.0.
Well, now we're going to test your Bible literacy.
Okay, let's see.
The Bible is full of interesting caricatures. In the first book of the Bible, Genesis, Adam and Eve were created from an apple tree.
I feel like this is just AI.
One of their children, Cain, once asked, "Am I my brother's son?" God asked Abraham to sacrifice Isaac on Mount Montezuma. Jacob, son of Isaac, stole his brother's birthmark.
Wait.
Jacob was a patriarch who brought up his 12 sons to be patriarchs, but they did not take to it.
Oh, did they not? Okay.
One of Jacob's sons, Joseph, gave refuse to the Israelites.
No, he did not.
All right, here we go.
That's so gross,
What
Joseph.
Okay,
Can you remind me where we began? Because that was a lot.
Well, we began with the Bible being full of interesting
Full
caricatures.
of interesting characters. Oh,
I
and
know,
also
but
it begins with Guinnesses,
Guinnesses, yep. I do want to point
which
out
I would love if
that
it did.
caricatures, I mean,
I guess.
kind of,
But also,
but it's not what you meant.
But also, even if they had written it the way they meant to, the Bible is full of interesting characters is your opening line. That seems weird. Okay.
I believe the children are our future.
Adam and Eve were created from an apple tree.
Yeah,
Wrong. Adam was created out of the beautiful brain of God, and Eve was created.
Oh, that's Zeus.
Oh yeah,
Zeus and
Athena and Zeus. And Eve was created out of a rib or maybe dust.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either God spit in the mud,
Yeah,
or
either or. Yeah.
Yeah.
What comes after that one?
One of their children, Cain, once asked, "Am I my brother's son?"
Am I my brother's keeper?
Correct.
Oh
Good
my
job.
gosh! Wait, I have
Am I my brother's son?
I have an
Wow.
interjection here.
Yeah.
Because Cain and Abel, the first murder, right?
Yeah.
But also, like the first death, how did he know it was going to kill him?
Ooh.
Maybe he was just
Oh,
like, you're being
wow.
really annoying. And then he was like, hey, Abel,
You know,
hello?
Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to do
What
that.
happened? You
Yeah,
know?
but I think he kind of convicted himself when God
Yeah,
came
when he
to
was
him and
all-
said, "Where is your brother?"
was
And he
all
went,
weird
"Am I
and
my
guilty.
brother's keeper?"
Yeah, but that's also kind of like, oh my God, don't tell dad. You can hit me back. Here, you can hit me back. Don't tell dad.
Wow.
You know?
You're going to be in front of St. Peter just litigating the hell out
Like,
of things.
no,
Literally litigating the hell
Listen.
out of things.
you're being unfair because he didn't know what was going to happen. And okay, what comes after that?
God asked Abraham to sacrifice Isaac on Mount Montezuma.
I know that Montezuma is wrong, but I don't know what the actual mountain's called.
It doesn't matter. We're going to give you credit for knowing that one's
What
wrong.
is it? What is it called? Do you know?
Which mountain was?
Mm.
Was it?
Don't know.
Was it just Mountain of the Lord, or was it Sinai? I don't know. I don't know either.
Well,
See, we both would fail that. All right, so then Jacob, son of Isaac, stole his brother's birthmark.
no, he stole his brother's birthright.
Correct. Good job.
By wearing a coat of like goat's hair because his brother's really hairy.
Right.
It's
See?
because I was named after the mother that
Also,
tells him
because
to
you
do
watched
that.
a lot of VeggieTales.
Also that.
All right. Jacob was a patriarch who brought up his 12 sons to be patriarchs, but they did not take to it.
Isn't that true? I mean, they did take to it.
They did take to it. They were the heads of the 12 tribes of Israel.
What do you mean
Literally
they did not
patriarchs.
take to it?
It's like a nonsense line someone threw it.
But they did not take to it. I think they're. This sounds like AI, honestly.
Well, a lot of it sounds like somebody just, word salad.
Like skimmed something and was
Yeah.
like, I'll just come to my own conclusions.
So, and then Joseph gave refuse to the Israelites. Refuge, right?
Refuse. It's really funny.
Okay, so you're perfect again.
Yes.
8 out of 8.
Dad, I'm everything good in the world in one person.
All right, too soon.
I disagree.
All right. We're going to continue on with our Egypt/biblical
This is fun.
stories. Yeah,
I feel like
you're rocking
crushing
it.
I'm rocking it.
Okay, so here is our next paragraph. Pharaoh forced the Hebrew slaves to make bread without straw. Moses led them to the Red Sea, where they made unleavened bread, which is bread made without any ingredients.
No, hang on. Hang on.
That's what Jesus did.
Bread made without any ingredients is a really funny sentence.
Afterwards, Moses went up on Mount Sinai to get the 10 Commandments.
Cyanide!
David was a Hebrew king skilled at playing the lyre. This is a tough one because it's actually
L-I-A-R?
spelled L-I-A-R.
yeah.
He fought with the Philatelists, a race of people who lived in biblical times. I didn't know they had stamps back then.
Philatelists?
Yeah. Solomon,
Wait, did they say a race?
a race of people who lived in biblical times.
Oh, good. That's specific.
Solomon, one of David's sons, had 500 wives and 500 porcupines. I mean, he might have.
We don't know.
I don't think that's what you meant.
We don't know. Okay. Remind me where we started once more.
Pharaoh forced the Hebrew slaves to make bread without straw.
Without straw.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he forced them to make bread without something.
No, he forced them to make bricks without straw.
Oh, bricks without straw. I didn't know
and
that.
it wasn't really that they had to make bricks without straw. It was
was
you
just-
have to go collect the straw instead of me giving you the straw.
It was just like slave labor is what
Slave
he forced
labor,
them
but
to do.
he was
I didn't-
punishing them by not
I didn't
giving them the
realize
straw.
that. Okay, I didn't know that.
Moses led them to the Red Sea where they made unleavened bread.
I don't think that they made unleavened bread at the Red Sea. I think they did that afterward.
They
Where
did it before.
They did it before? I thought they crossed the Red Sea.
They
and
did
then
it before because they were fleeing. So
Oh,
they didn't have time
they
to
didn't
let the
have time.
bread
Okay.
rise, right? And then it became the Passover. Okay, so, but it's also... yeah.
Wait, say more about that. I didn't know that.
They were told to
I remember.
bring
I know the.
unleavened bread on the journey.
Oh, and okay,
So-
because the Passover is
Slaughter the lamb.
Passover of the houses because
Right.
they put the blood on the doorway
And
so-
then the next day, pack up, we're getting out of here.
Oh, I didn't realize it was literally the next day, and that's why.
Pretty sure that Pharaoh calls Moses in and says, get the hell out of here.
Ah, okay.
And then
Interesting.
changes his mind again.
That's why it's tradition to eat like what is it?
Yeah, matzo. Well, that's a pot. That's like
That's wait. What is it?
That is dough.
What is the flat? What's it called? It has a name.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
But
Bad
Yes.
Catholics.
yeah. I know.
Okay, interesting. I never knew
think-
that. Cool. Okay, let's keep going.
All right. And
Not
then,
doing as well this time.
No, you were. I'm.
You're giving. You're being.
I'm
generous
giving you
with
partial
here.
credit for that
I
one.
appreciate
Definitely you caught the bread made without any ingredients.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we really skip around in the timeline here.
Afterwards, Moses went up on Mount Sinai.
Sinai.
Yeah.
You kinda
Okay, you got that
you
one.
gave me a hint earlier
Yep.
as we brought it up, but yeah.
David was the Hebrew king, skilled at playing. I think this one really works too because David was kind of a little con artist.
He did play the lyre. It's true.
And the instrument.
And the instrument.
So, but
Lyre.
yeah. He fought with the philatelists. I think is one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
Philatelists?
Those are stamp collectors.
Oh.
That's what a philatelist is.
I didn't know that.
And so I think that
Is it Philistines?
yes,
Okay.
correct. And the just the image in my head
He's
of
so
David.
pissed. The greatest king.
I have like, this is the guy that took down Goliath,
Yeah.
and I have this picture of him just whipping envelopes at philatelists, like Far Side cartoon style.
Out of his sling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catch this and put a stamp on it.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, all right. So, yeah. And then Solomon, one of David's sons, had 500 wives and 500 porcupines.
What is that word?
Concubines.
Concubines, thank you.
Yeah. But
I was going to say prostitute because I was on the P word.
I mean, Solomon may have had
500
porcupines
I don't
too,
know.
but that's not one of the things he's
I
noted
don't know
for.
if they were native to the land.
I'm going to give you 6.5 out of 7 there.
I think that's fair. I didn't 4.0 that one.
No, but
that's okay.
still a passing grade.
Still a passing
Right, now we're moving on to some more challenging history.
Oh gosh.
This is more Greek history.
Uh-oh.
And we're going to start off strong.
Okay.
Without the Greeks, we wouldn't have history.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Greeks invented 3 kinds of columns: Corinthian, Doric, and Ironic. They also had myths. A myth is a female moth. One myth says that the mother of Achilles dipped him in the river Styx until he became intolerable. Achilles appears in the Iliad by Homer. Homer also wrote the Odyssey,
No!
in which Penelope was the last hardship that Ulysses endured on his journey. Actually, Homer was not written by Homer, but by another man of that name.
Yo, hang on. I think I'm having a stroke.
Yeah, well,
What?
someone did, and then they wrote that paragraph.
I really think this is all AI. I believe it. Okay.
This was supposedly collected by
age group?
teachers.
What age group are we talking here?
Well, I should have led with that, huh?
Yeah.
I thought it was high school and college.
That's crazy. Although, I kind of believe it because there's been a resurgence of teachers on TikTok being like, I teach 11th grade.
Yeah.
These kids can't read. Like,
Yeah.
when I say can't read, you think I'm exaggerating? I mean that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fun.
Scary.
Okay, can you
All right.
direct me to the beginning once more?
Without the Greeks, we wouldn't have history.
Well, that's just bullshit.
Okay, good.
I'm just going to say
Glad
that.
you couldn't see.
Okay, cool.
The Greeks invented 3 kinds
yes.
of columns.
Corinthian, Doric, and Ionian.
No, Ionic.
Ionic.
Not ironic, not Ionian.
Ionic. Mom.
Well, I'm going to give you a half point there. It's not perfect.
Sorry. Mom taught us those different types of columns when we were homeschooled.
Of course. The Greeks also had myths.
Which is a female moth.
Right.
Wrong.
Yeah, no. One myth says...
Penelope was the last hardship.
well, no, wait. Achilles... Mother of Achilles dipped him in the river Styx until he became intolerable.
Styx.
Yep.
Until he became almost invincible.
Correct. Yeah, good
Except
job.
for the heel.
Achilles appears in the Iliad by Homer, and Homer also wrote...
The Odyssey.
Not the Odyssey.
Not the Odyssey. Although...
I think that is a Neil Simon play. The Odyssey.
Is it?
Oh, no, that's the Odd Couple.
Oh. You should write a paragraph for me to correct.
Yeah,
or
something
both
like
of us to
that.
correct.
Yeah, and in which Penelope was the last hardship that Ulysses endured on his journey.
I don't think she was a hardship he had to endure.
Yeah. No. The hardships are the Sirens, the Cyclops, Circe, and Poseidon, and his own hubris, but
His
not
own hubris.
Penelope.
Doesn't he... Wait, isn't Penelope his mother?
I think, as a matter of fact, I'm not sure Penelope's even in that story. I thought she was in a different.
Is she not? Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
but we know that this sentence was
that's
incorrect.
wrong for sure. Okay.
And finally, Homer was not written by Homer, but by another man of that name.
That same name. Well, that's just
intelligible.
Wild.
I think
I can't even tell what they're trying to say.
I'm trying to give credit where this person doesn't deserve any, but the sentence is a mess. But
Homer is actually not written by Homer, but written by a man of the same name.
Yeah, I think that what they're really trying to get at is most people don't think there was a Homer. An individual is like a
nom de plume.
No, it was more like a something that evolved out of oral tradition, and there was a group of people who were they're the ones that kept the tradition going, and eventually at some point that group said we should write this down.
Became the name.
And there's like this. I don't know. There was a bunch of stuff that I found where it was like the Greek for Homer actually is like a mnemonic for this group.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of cool.
I enjoy that.
I mean, and the fact that I had to vet this meant that I got to go discover that and go, oh, that's cool.
Wait, can I interrupt to tell you something I learned? So I found this playlist of podcasts on Spotify that they've labeled the history of the entire world, and somebody collected different podcast episodes from different sources. Okay. Starting at like the Big Bang, and then right. So that's where I'm like.
It's like a meta podcast. Then?
Yes.
That's awesome.
It's really cool. It's really cool. I'm enjoying it. Anyway, I listened to a Stuff You Should Know episode was on there about the Great Flood myth and why pretty much every ancient culture has one. Yeah. Like, but we have no evidence of there actually being a global flood, and we don't. And why is that such a pervasive myth across cultures when, to the best of our knowledge, there was no global flood? And the answer they came to was our modern interpretation of the word global is not the same as their interpretation
no, of course not,
of the
right?
word. When the entire world that you know of is flooded.
Well, also, it's interesting because there are really cool ways to look at some of these ancient stories. I mean, even like fairy tales and stuff like that, and find what do you do to find the nugget of truth in there?
Yes, it's interesting because then they started talking about like, okay, so that's one interpretation, which is probably true. Also, a lot of these cultures existed at the end of the last glacial age. Yes. So there was a lot of flooding going on.
Yes, exactly.
And like if your entire culture is flooded and destroyed, that feels a lot like the wrath of a god who's displeased with you. You know? Bet. And that's another consistency across the myths, that it's the result of an angry god. Like it's always a punishment. Which is really just we have been assholes to each other forever, but we do still have a conscience. Interestingly, they call it the Diluvian myths, appears in the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is acknowledged the oldest, right? As the oldest written like story, myth, anything like history, even like. We refer to it as that. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I love it. Just a separate piece of info. You're going to have to share that. It's really cool.
I want to see that.
I think you would enjoy it.
It's probably hundreds of hours of content. Oh, yeah. But
over 100 hours. I'm not going like chronologically because like there was one that was like, how does, I don't know, like natural selection work? I was like, I don't need to listen to a 45-minute episode on natural selection. I know what
you just need works, to. You could just go listen to Matt Baxter.
Did you see all the energy?
I know, you just deflated instantly.
Like
it was
a balloon.
Wow. I'm sorry.
All right, let's keep going.
All right, we have a quick Greek wild card.
Ooh, fun.
Before we decide, because nothing happens between Greece and the Middle Ages.
Oh God, no.
So we're just going to skip ahead. But first, Socrates was a famous Greek teacher who went around giving people advice. They killed him.
Ah!
Socrates died from an overdose of wedlock.
Of wedlock?
You got it.
Hemlock.
Yes, it was hemlock. It was not wedlock.
I wouldn't call it
I
an
know.
overdose. Wasn't it intentional?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like overdose implies an accident.
Yeah, that's true. No, he was forced to.
Yeah.
He was forced to murder himself.
Hemlock. Sorry.
So yeah,
Socrates.
so the 5th century BC to the 5th century AD, absolutely nothing of
happened.
import.
Everybody just froze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because anyway, we're gonna.
Nothing important occurred.
Then came the Middle Ages, and this one is tricky because I had to do a lot of research on this.
Actual research?
Mhm.
All right, let's see.
Then
if I
came
can
the
do
Middle Ages. King Alfred conquered the Danes. King Arthur lived in the age of chivalry. King Harold mustarded his troops before the Battle of Hastings. Joan of Arc was canonized by Bernard Shaw, and victims of the Black Death grew boobs on their necks. Finally, Magna Carta provided that no free man should be hanged twice for the same offense.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Woo!
Okay, so there were some names thrown out at the beginning that I don't think I'll be able to correct.
Well, I just want to point out, before you try,
Okay.
that paragraph had a shocking amount of accurate information.
Okay, because can you start again with the kings?
King Alfred conquered the Danes.
I believe that.
That is, in fact, correct.
Okay, cool.
But no one knows that. King Arthur lived in the age of
chivalry.
Chivalry,
I'll
kind
fix that
of,
one.
yeah. But also, we aren't.
We
really
don't call it that.
People used to think that King Arthur wasn't a real person. Now there's a little bit of evidence that maybe his legend is based on a real king from very early in the Middle Ages. But anyway, doesn't really matter. We're just gonna do the chivalry error.
Oh boy, chivalry.
King Harold mustarded his troops, which is a really messy thing to do before a battle.
Mustarded them? Don't do that to them.
Yeah, I hope he had a good hot dog to give them too.
Although, if you put mustard all over them, pretty slippery.
Pretty slippery, but if you do get sliced by a sword, that mustard's gonna be
Sting.
really, really
Ooh,
awful.
Ow. And the fumes in your eyes.
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
nascent mustard
I don't know,
gas,
King Harold.
right? Yeah, I don't think King Harold.
Mustard gas. That's funny.
I don't think King Harold really had. I think he mustered his troops.
He mustered them, yes.
Yes. This shocking fact of history was new to me. Joan of Arc was canonized by Bernard Shaw.
I have no idea who Bernard Shaw is.
I'm pretty sure he's a guy that wrote plays.
Girl.
Or novels or something.
I don't think he's allowed to canonize people.
In the 1800s or 1900s.
You have to be canonized by the Pope, right?
Yes.
But isn't there a part before that where you're like?
There's a lot of parts before
like
that. Yeah.
Holy person or something
Joan
like
of Arc has been beatified.
Beatified.
Yeah. So she is a saint in the Catholic Church.
Wait, canonized?
Yeah. No, canonized is the same. It's the same kind of. It's so put in the canon of the.
Isn't she already in there?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Who put her there?
I don't remember which pope.
We don't know.
Was
Okay, but a pope, not Bernard Shaw.
It was a pope. No, it was not Bernard Shaw.
Okay.
So yeah, we got that one. I mean, yeah, you could just listen to the name and know it's not right.
Bernard Shaw.
I'm pretty sure there wasn't a Bernard Shaw in the 5th century.
Canonizing
AD.
Joan of Arc.
Well, Joan of Arc wasn't 5th century, but yeah, we're jumping around in the timeline quite a bit here.
We sure are, yeah.
Victims of the Black Death grew boobs on their necks.
I think they're trying to talk about the bubonic plague.
Well, that's the Black Death, yeah,
but like
they didn't boils.
Boils? Is that what they're going for?
It's not boobs.
It's not boobs, but
No.
I don't think there's like a derivative of the word bubonic that is like a.
I don't know.
Starts with boo. I think it's just boils.
I think so too.
Was it not?
And it wasn't just on their necks either.
It was everywhere.
It was everywhere. It was ugly.
Girl, it was horrible.
Okay, and finally,
okay,
the Magna Carta provided that no free man should be hanged twice for the same offense.
Okay. I mean, just like logically, that one doesn't work.
No, of course.
But I actually don't know what the Magna Carta did.
It was the first document signed by a European king that actually laid out rights that
for the people?
Citizens have.
Okay, that's
people,
pretty nice.
not even citizens.
So, are they talking about double jeopardy?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You could. It would, yeah. Basically,
did the Magna Carta lay that out?
It did lay out
Okay.
like a justice system. And
including the idea of double jeopardy?
I believe so, yeah.
That
A
seems
limited version of it. Like if you
very
if
reasonable
you prove
for-
yourself innocent of you're not a witch, then they can't
say, yes, you are.
roll you out and be like, you're a witch again.
Your nose grew.
All right, so we got that was just a logic problem that you solved. That's good. We're going to give you 5 out of 5 there.
Yes.
And now we're going to get really highbrow. We're going to the
God.
Renaissance.
Okay, I'm ready.
The Renaissance was an age in which more individuals felt the value of their human being. That's against the church rules, by the way. You should not be feeling your human being.
Do not feel your human being.
Yeah.
It is a religion of self-sacrifice and the denial of the flesh.
Great callback.
Kinton would tell us that. What the fuck is his name? I don't remember.
Yeah, and I
Kirtan?
think you got it right. Kinton.
Kinton? Kirtan? Kirtan?
Here. Now you're going to make me look?
I don't think it's Kinton. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Mr. Ferrier?
Yeah, it was Ferrier, yeah.
Kirtan?
Kitron.
Kitron. I
Kitron.
knew it was wrong. Kitron.
All right.
Okay.
The Renaissance wasn't okay. We talked about you can't feel your
Can't
your
feel
human
your
being, but I
being.
did not highlight that as an error. That's editorial.
Is that true that you are not supposed to feel yourself as a human being?
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know. Martin Luther was nailed to the church door at Wittenberg
No!
for selling papal indulgences.
Papal indulgence.
He died a horrible death, being excommunicated by a bull.
Whoa. By a bull?
Yeah,
The bull excommunicated him.
apparently.
Okay.
It was the painter Donatello's interest in the female nude that made him the father of the Renaissance. I think someone's
The
trying...
Ninja Turtle?
Yes, somebody's trying to be funny here, but it didn't work. It was an age of great inventions and discoveries. Gutenberg invented the Bible.
Whoa!
Sir Walter Raleigh is a historical figure because he invented cigarettes.
In the Renaissance?
Yeah. Another important invention was the circulation of blood. Sir Francis Drake circumcised the world with a 100-foot clipper.
That's impressive, actually. Good for him. Don't say ouch. Don't say ouch in a tiny mouse voice. Don't do that.
Okay, well,
Okay.
Ready?
Woof.
You ready for this one?
There's more?
No, that was it. You got a lot to unpack, though.
Okay. That one was rough. Where did we start? The Renaissance.
The Renaissance is an age when, people were feeling themselves.
Don't touch your being.
Uh-huh.
Okay. What followed?
Martin Luther was nailed to the church door.
Martin Luther was not nailed to the church door.
Correct, he was not.
He nailed his opinions.
Yeah, his
to the church
complaints.
door.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he certainly didn't do that because he was selling papal indulgences.
Papal indulgences? Doesn't that mean like Pope
Yes.
indulgences?
Was Martin Luther the
I
Pope?
don't think he was selling papal indulgences.
No, he was bitching about selling papal indulgences.
Bitching on paper.
On paper.
About papal
He was saying, hey guys, this isn't what we're supposed to be about.
So he was, remind me, or correct,
What?
not correct me, validate me, maybe, if I'm right. He's the one that was saying, you guys are telling people that they can pay you to get into heaven. That's
Correct.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean,
What follows?
he actually
He
was
died-
right there,
he did.
and the church agreed with him.
He died a horrible death being excommunicated by a bull, which
Right.
is not a way to kill somebody.
So
And I don't think a bull can do that.
no, but so this is a person who just doesn't understand language, because the way that Martin Luther was excommunicated by the Pope was via a thing called a papal bull. It's
Oh,
a declaration
know
saying you have separated yourself from the church,
Ah.
and everybody needs to know about it. So no, he wasn't murdered by a bull.
Animal. But he was excommunicated
He was excommunicated,
by a
but he
bull.
didn't. I mean, he didn't really die a horrible death. He died of like slow illness,
Like old age, basically,
He
yeah.
lived to 62, but he wasn't like.
That's pretty old.
That's
for
pretty
that.
old back then. Yeah. But yeah, no, nobody killed him.
Nobody killed him.
All right.
Good Lord. Okay.
It was the painter Donatello's interest in the female nude that made him the father of the Renaissance. I just love what this sentence is trying to say.
I don't even know if I could point out a specific error, just because the whole sentence is.
It's kind of nonsense. I
Kind
think
of
it's
crazy,
basically
yeah.
trying to say that Donatello, the artist,
Liked some hot bod.
Yeah, he was like the Elon Musk of
Ew.
his age. He fathered 100 children, and so he was the father of the Renaissance. I don't even know. I also
I would not be able to like look at a painting and be like, oh yeah, Donatello. Like I have no idea what his art looks
it's
like.
a weird artist to use as the father of the
Yeah.
Renaissance. Like how many other name a couple artists that
Just any?
Renaissance artists.
Don't do that to me. Don't put me on the spot.
Think
like that.
Sistine Chapel.
Oh my gosh.
How about Michelangelo?
Yep.
How about Leonardo da Vinci? How about some folks that actually were notable
mean-
instead of just
The Ninja Turtles?
yeah, we're doing all of them.
I like that's the thing. When you say Donatello, and my first thought is the Ninja Turtles,
Mhm.
and I have never watched a single piece of media except for one time in the waiting room of my piercing place when the entire Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie was on the television.
Oh my gosh.
And we sat there
I
and
remember
watched
this.
the whole thing through because they were so backed up.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Then
Well,
maybe...
let's just because of your because you interpreted this as a Ninja Turtles reference, we're
I
going
don't
to
get a
not
point
give you
for that.
credit
I
for
think
it.
that's fair. I think that's fair. I also couldn't name another Renaissance painter.
Okay, yeah, that's so. Yeah, I'm trying to be really liberal here.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I can't fail this.
How about this one? Gutenberg invented the Bible.
Well, that's okay. What?
What did he do?
Gutenberg.
Yeah, what did Gutenberg do?
Something mechanistic.
Yes, correct. What did he do with the Bible?
I actually am not sure.
He printed it.
Did he? Okay, cool.
He printed it for the first time.
But he didn't invent it.
No, but yeah, so you're going to get credit for that one. He didn't
Thank
invent
you.
the Bible.
And I knew it was something mechanistic. I knew that.
Everybody knows King James invented the Bible.
That's why his name is on it.
That's right. Sir Walter Raleigh is a historical figure because he invented cigarettes.
I actually have no idea who that
Who
is.
Walter Raleigh is?
Or who
he was
invented
cigarettes.
cigarettes.
He was a Brit, and he was in a bunch of wars, and he also especially over here, we know about him because he was an explorer. He went flying all around the world.
Did he invent cigarettes?
I don't think so.
Why would they
I
say
think
that then?
people have, well, because I think that
mean-
there's a reference to like Raleigh brand and Raleigh as like
okay.
Southern tobacco culture.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to find. It's fun because they're so wrong
Uh-huh.
that it's kind
It's
of like
sort of was
a
like,
game to try to
maybe.
find the connection to what they were trying to say.
Yeah.
You know?
Another important invention was the circulation of blood.
Well, we didn't invent that one. Sorry,
No, but,
guys. What
who-
did they mean by that?
I think the discovery of that system.
The circulatory system?
Right.
Like the Renaissance
So-
was an era when we started to
Yeah.
educate ourselves
I mean,
in a broader way about the human
This is
condition.
actually a vague reference to Da Vinci, I think.
Oh,
Yeah. Whoa, hey. Where he was drawing out these systems and recognizing what their physical purpose was.
interesting. Okay.
Da Vinci was a boss.
Yeah.
So, anyway, they clearly didn't really understand what they were saying. They just.
Well, the circulation of blood was invented during the Renaissance. Before that, nobody had boners.
Yeah, I really can't. Yeah, there you go. Speaking of boners,
Oh, gosh.
the last one makes me so nervous. Sir Francis Drake circumcised the entire world with a 100-foot clipper.
What the fuck
Did the
does that
whole
mean?
damn world dirty.
Okay, see, that's what I mean when I say I can't even tell you what they were trying to say.
Circumscribed?
With a one.
Circumnavigated?
Circumnavigated.
Probably. Sir Francis Drake is the first one to go all the way around
That's
the world.
probably what it is. 100.
Not
foot.
according to the flat
Oh,
earthers, but
Is it 100-foot like boat?
a clipper. A clipper ship.
Okay.
Yeah. Not scissors. But
Circumcised
the
is
picture
such an
of
unfortunate
Sir
plug.
Francis Drake giving the entire planet a big circumcision with massive scissors. Ugh.
You don't like to think about that?
No, I don't.
If you line them all up, we'll move on.
All right. I'm giving you 8 out of 9 there.
That's generous. I appreciate
No, I
that.
think you were right there.
You think it? Okay.
Yeah. one more short section on the Renaissance.
Okay.
During the Renaissance, America began. Christopher Columbus was a great navigator who discovered America while cursing about the Atlantic. His ships were called the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Fe. Later, the Pilgrims crossed the ocean, and this was known as Pilgrim's Progress.
Oh, later? Okay.
Later, next day.
Just later.
2 weeks later.
We don't really know when.
Maybe 100 and
We
some
can
years later.
guesstimate.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Is that the whole thing?
Yep,
Okay.
that's it. That was
Where did we start? Christopher? Oh,
No,
in the Renaissance,
during
America
the Renaissance,
was created?
America began.
Began.
No.
Turtle Island has always been here, y'all. I promise.
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus discovered it when he was circumventing?
No, cursing about the Atlantic.
Oh, cursing about the Atlantic. Cruising, I assume?
Yeah, I think
it's fun to refer to Christopher Columbus as having been cruising about the Atlantic.
Yeah, that too. And that's giving them credit for what they meant to say. I think, literally speaking, he did curse about the Atlantic.
Curse about the Atlantic.
He was pretty damn done with being on that boat. So
he went to France and he sure cursed about being around in the Atlantic. Okay. What's next? He cursed about it and then...
Yeah, his ships were called the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Fe.
Santa Fe. I find nothing wrong with that. Santa Maria.
You got it. Very good.
I know
Okay.
that. I know that.
Okay. Later, the Pilgrims crossed the ocean, and this was known as Pilgrim's Progress.
I actually don't know what they're trying to say there. Pilgrim's Progress?
You know how when you don't know something, you like to drop things, like to make it sound like you know things?
This was known as, and you just make something
Yeah.
up.
Well, no, the Pilgrim's Progress is a book.
Oh.
It's a book, but it was written later. It's a long-ass, boring-ass book.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's just a religious allegory. It's not really even
Gross.
all that interesting.
Okay, so it was not known as Pilgrim's
No,
Progress.
no. Pilgrims crossed the ocean, and it was just known as...
Pilgrims crossing the ocean.
Yeah, it was
Going
just,
to
it
create a
was
new
known
life.
as immigration to the native tribes. Should have built a wall, damn it.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway. Okay, unfortunately, I'm only giving you 3 points there because you had no idea what Pilgrim's Progress was.
I had no idea. That's fair. That's fair grading.
All right, now we're going to get into the meat of
Into the meat
America.
of history.
America.
Yeah, I know about this.
We're almost
1776.
Okay.
New York City.
George Washington married Martha Curtis, and in due time became the father of our country. Then the Constitution of the United States was adopted to secure domestic hostility.
Oh.
Under the Constitution, the people enjoyed the right to keep bear arms. B-A-R-E.
To keep.
The whole thing was about naked arms.
They're like.
The whole thing. Like, hey, Brits.
In America.
Too much wool. We want bare arms.
We show off our bows.
check out my biceps.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right, so.
George Washington married Martha Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Martha Washington's maiden name is. That could very well be it.
It's close, but it is incorrect.
What is it?
It's Custis.
I did not know that.
But you did call out that was probably not correct. I'm going to give you half a point
Thank you,
there.
that's fair. And I do enjoy In Due Time.
In due time.
Like he was waiting his turn.
Yeah. I mean, he married her, and then he failed miserably in the French and Indian War, and then for some reason they said, hey, dude,
kind of became
you
president.
suck at military stuff.
But you've waited.
Why don't you go ahead and just run the whole army?
It's been due time.
It's due time. It's time. Yeah, it is. You are due, sir. And then, skip a whole war and all that.
No, that doesn't matter. Because then the Constitution was enacted to ensure domestic hostility?
Yeah, right.
What is it? Hospitality?
No,
what are you trying
tranquility.
to say? Tranquility.
That's what it actually says. Domestic tranquility.
Oh. Ensure domestic tranquility.
Oh, here we go. All right.
Provide for the common defense. Promote the general welfare.
Wow.
Support the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity to ordain and establish this
You're pretty
Constitution.
good at this.
For the United States of America. Thank
We're
you,
de-
Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah, I was going to say we're definitely now going to get yanked off of all the platforms because you just.
We're gonna
That wasn't an 8-second clip, Rebecca.
Sorry, we're commenting on it, so it's allowed? Fair use?
I hope so.
Okay. It's a cover. You can't
It's a
sue us.
cover.
You can't sue us.
It's tiny sofa covers of Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah, that's our new thing.
Wait, do we have a bit now?
I guess
All
so.
right. Okay. Under the Constitution, the people enjoyed the right to keep bear arms. We already kind of covered that one.
Yeah, we know that's.
All right. So you got 2.5 out of 3 there.
I think I should get extra credit for singing that song.
I'll consider it at the
Professor.
end. I'll consider it at the end.
Okay, that's fair. If it bumps my grade from a B to an A, will you give me extra credit?
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
I
I'll
think
see you in
I think
office
you can
hours.
get there. I
I'll
think
come
you can
to
get there.
office hours.
We have just a few more,
I think I can do it. Okay.
including the last one is an all-timer.
Yeah, that one's gonna be
Okay.
hard. The more modern we get, the less confident I get.
Uh-huh. Abraham Lincoln became America's greatest president.
President. Okay, I actually have an argument. Even if they wrote president.
Well, right. That's totally subjective.
Yeah,
So it's
but-
maybe they backed it up with a 5-paragraph essay.
Who can
you
say?
never know.
We don't know.
All right.
President.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Because the next sentence is Bizarro
I'm
World.
really scared.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lincoln's mother died in infancy, and he was born in a log cabin which he built with his own hands.
No, hang on. No.
Just picture the timeline.
His mother died in infancy, and he was born in a cabin he built with his bare hands. King, he really is the greatest president.
This is how Bible happened, by
It's
the way.
amazing.
This is probably how Bible happened. Like somebody was like, I'm pretty sure he said that
Yeah.
that's what happened.
Thank you for saying that, Mr. Catholic, because that's what I think.
Like I said before, I like to look at the stories and find the nugget of truth in there.
That's fair.
I don't need it to be literally true. Okay. I mean, we're ready?
I know. Okay.
When Lincoln was president, he wore only a tall silk hat.
Only?
This
He really is the greatest president.
this was a big boy, too. He was a big boy. He was very tall.
Very tall. You were eye level.
I'm sure.
With-
Yeah, I'm sure he was just.
With his dangling bits.
I'm sure he was a hog farmer, if you know what I mean.
Ew, Dad. Hey, Dad.
Huh?
Ew. Just wanted you to know.
But he
that
also. Yeah, okay, we're moving on. He also said, "In onion there is strength."
In onion?
Yeah.
Union?
Taste. Yeah, that's right.
Unison?
That's right. That's what he meant.
Like
Yeah,
together?
no, union. In union
Together
there
we
is
are
strength.
strong, divided we are weak. Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln wrote the Gettysburg Address while traveling from Washington to Gettysburg on the back of an envelope.
Envelope?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, what the fuck could they have meant?
Airmail, obviously. That's just a grammar error. We'll fix it. We'll fix it in the edits here.
That's really funny.
On the night of April 14th, 1865, Lincoln went to the theater and got shot in his seat
Oh.
by one of the actors in a moving picture show.
Okay. Wait, hang on. Wait, he got shot in his seat by one of the actors
In a moving picture show. Yeah. You know, he was just
He was
out.
at the movies.
He wanted to see the newest Transformers movie.
Of course, don't we all?
And then this guy jumped out of the screen
Yep,
and shot
magically.
him in his seat.
Blue skidoo, we can
I
too.
think that means he got shot in the ass.
Oh.
The believed assassinator, which is
Assassinator is crazy.
incredible consistency. I love it. He got shot in his ass, and this is an assassinator.
This is an assassinator.
So the believed assassinator was John Wilkes Booth, a supposedly insane actor
Of a moving picture.
of a moving picture show. Okay, are you ready for this banger
There's
of a finish?
more. Okay, I'm ready.
This ruined Booth's career.
Oh, I'm sure it did. His acting career?
Lincoln's career was kind of cut short too.
I guess it's fair. He
Yeah.
also ruined Lincoln's
Yeah,
career.
I mean, we really don't focus on that part. We focus on Booth's, the fact that we didn't get the full John Wilkes Booth acting arc.
Acting, he could have been. the heartthrob of our generation. Okay, I don't even know where to begin.
Oh my
here.
gosh, this
So
is a train wreck.
Oh no, Lincoln's mother died in infancy. Huh?
Right, but
Probably-
you also already called out the precedent thing.
Oh, the precedent. Probably died in childbirth. I
Yes,
assume.
that's probably what they meant. Yep.
I don't know if
He was born in a log cabin, which he built with his own hands.
maybe his father built it, or maybe he later built
I
one
think he
himself.
later built one and lived in it. Yeah.
Okay.
He was also. I learned this when I was doing research about Lincoln
Oh, wondrous.
for this paragraph.
Wow.
Abraham Lincoln is our only president to have ever owned a bar.
A bar?
Yeah.
Wow. I would go to Lincoln's bar.
I for sure would.
Especially if he's only wearing a silk top hat.
Uh-huh. And he apparently really likes onions.
He's got a stench to him. Yum.
Okay, so yep, you called out that only a tall silk hat. You did call out in union there is strength, not onion. So now let's deal with this Gettysburg Address sentence.
Okay. Can you say it again? Oh, he wrote it while...
Abraham Lincoln wrote the Gettysburg Address while traveling from Washington to Gettysburg on the back of an envelope.
On the back of an envelope.
What he really
Oh,
means...
he wrote the address on the back of an envelope.
We just chopped up that sentence
but
improperly.
you made it real weird.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. So we're giving you an absolute... The writer of this, an absolute fail...
On
for the grammar,
sentence structure.
even though you kind of did have the
Is that
accurate information. Yes.
Oh, cool.
So he went to the theater and got shot in his seat by one of the actors in a moving picture show.
No. I mean, by an actor, yes.
But he
not
wasn't in the
of
show.
the theater performance he was there to see.
Right.
And he didn't get killed by an actor because the dude's an actor. Like, that doesn't seem to be a
Was he
salient piece of information.
No. Yeah. Supposedly insane though.
I mean, he killed a dude.
Is that proper grammar to say
Supposedly?
supposedly?
Supposedly.
Supposedly.
People still say supposedly.
I know. It's not a real word, is it?
I don't know if it's a real
Fact
word.
check
It's
that.
not correct in
Jamie,
that.
pull that up. Oh, wait. Wrong podcast.
Wait, we don't have a Jamie here.
We don't have a Jamie.
Maybe one day we'll have a Jamie.
Maybe.
We're kind of our own Jamies.
Kind of had a Jamie once.
Hey!
What?
He wasn't a very good Jamie. It's fine. He won't hear this.
Okay, moving on. Let's see. What am I gonna? I think that you kind of got.
I should get full score on
Yeah,
that
I think
one.
you got everything there. That's 9 out of 9. That's a
Yes.
very strong showing.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the British Empire. Wow. She's
Yep.
allergic to the British Empire.
I really am.
The sun the sun never set on the British Empire because the British Empire is in the east and the sun sets in the west. Queen Victoria was the longest queen. She sat on a throne for 63 years. Her reclining years and finally the end of her life were exemplary of a great personality. Her death was the final event which ended her reign.
Really?
Yeah, funny how that happened, huh?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the sun never sets on the British Empire.
Yeah.
Because
Which
the
is a
sun-
phrase.
Yes. Because, well,
It was a phrase.
it was.
It's-
But wasn't it?
It was literally just
Like-
the sun never sets on the British Empire.
But then it kind of did a little.
Well, yeah.
Like,
and then it
did
kind
it
of
not
really
a
did.
little?
Yeah.
Because the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. That is a factually accurate statement. But
no, because they say the
Doesn't
British
make
Empire
sense.
is in the east
Oh, the
and
British.
the sun
Well,
sets.
if you stand west of the British Empire,
Oh gosh.
then yeah.
Quit trying to give them credit for a
No,
stupid.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The British Empire is in the east. It is a Western civilization.
Yeah, it sure is.
Okay.
I mean, there was a thing called the British East India Company, but
Yeah, but just say that one out loud.
The
and you
folks
can
in
figure
India
out-
weren't very happy about it.
You can figure out what's wrong with that one.
Yeah. All right. Queen Victoria was the longest queen.
I actually, like, physically, don't
Yeah.
know if that one's
I don't
true.
think that's true. I heard she
Yeah.
had a big nose. Maybe
She's British.
Yeah.
How long did Queen Elizabeth?
I think
Reign
that
for.
Queen Elizabeth might have usurped
I
Queen
think she
Victoria.
did. I think so too. Yeah, but this might have been written before she died.
Yeah, could be.
But so I'm not going to
But-
mark them down for that one.
Well, I am.
Okay, cool.
So, and you're gonna get credit for it because you did.
Because I brought it up.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, she sat on the thorn.
Yeah,
for-
poor girl sat on a
yeah,
thorn for
until-
63 years.
Until her reign was ended by her death. Unfortunate. I
Yeah.
wish she could have kept going.
Yeah, you missed one then because
what was before that? I just probably don't remember.
her reclining years.
Oh yeah.
And finally the end of her life. exemplatory. I don't know. You can say it's just
Exemplary?
that's just we're just putting extra.
Probably exemplary is what they mean.
Yeah, it's just quit
It's hard.
quit making up things to add. But
Yeah.
I do think that if she was sitting on a thorn for 63 years, she probably was reclining in her declining years.
Yeah, probably.
Because that shit hurts.
Well, maybe she was standing a lot because she couldn't sit anymore.
Oh, maybe that.
She had a
maybe
thorn
that.
up her
Yeah,
bum
yeah.
for 63
right.
years.
It's got to be pussy at that point, right?
Dude,
Can you
it's
imagine
gotta
the
be.
smell?
Or maybe a callus has formed. Because
Oh
it's
yeah,
that,
maybe it's just a big.
hard.
Maybe it's like a boob on the neck.
Ooh, maybe a boob has
Yeah.
grown on her.
On
We
the
have to
neck.
stop.
Okay, 4 out of 4.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Okay, one more paragraph and then one last sentence,
Okay,
and
cool.
then we're done.
And then we could do scoring.
Oh yeah.
It's a long one.
The 19th century was a time of many great inventions and thoughts.
Thoughts.
Big thoughts.
Big old thoughts in the 19th.
The invention of this steamboat caused a network of rivers to spring up.
No, hang on. Wait.
They magicked those rivers into existence.
A network, a whole network.
A whole
now.
network. Yep,
A whole
sprang
network.
up. Boom. Cyrus McCormick invented the McCormick raper, which did the work of 100 men. Oof.
That's a tough sentence.
That is a tough sentence. Whoo, Cyrus.
Cyrus, no,
There's
Cyrus.
a special place for you.
No, Cyrus.
Do you know what he actually did invent?
I have no idea who that is.
Cyrus McCormick invented the McCormick reaper.
Reaper.
It was a mechanical harvesting tool that
Ah,
yeah, great. So it did the work of 100 men, but not a rapey
cool.
thing.
Not an Arabian. Yikes.
Samuel Morse
Morse.
invented a code of telepathy.
I wonder what it. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Louis Pasteur invented a cure for rabbis.
Rabbi.
How about that? They finally fixed the rabbis.
The rabbi issue.
Yeah.
Aw, good for them.
We found the source
In
of
the 19th
anti-Semitism.
century. Well, we fixed it.
Freaking Louis Pasteur.
We fixed it in the 19th century because we just had so many thoughts back then.
Oh, big thoughts. Yeah, great
Yeah,
inventions
lots
too.
of them, yeah.
Charles Darwin was a naturalist
That's true.
who wrote The Organ of the Species.
No, that's not true.
I wish
The organ of
I
the
wish
species.
that this sentence was written that Charles Darwin was a naturist who wrote The Organ of the Species, because naturists are they're the nudists.
Oh, naturalist.
Yeah.
Did he write naturist?
No, I wanted him to.
Oh,
That's
okay.
my point.
Okay.
No,
I was
he-
like, how did I not notice that?
Yeah. So there was one little. Yeah, it was a typo.
The organ.
You know. Ready for this one?
Oh God. Okay.
Madman Curie discovered radium,
How dare you?
and Karl Marx became one of the Marx brothers.
He became one
Yeah.
of the Marx brothers.
Uh-huh.
That's
Someone didn't read their history book.
genuinely, that's so wrong. I don't think I can correct it in one sentence.
Mm-mm.
You know?
Nope. No, that's
Okay.
definitely not a typo.
Let's start from the beginning.
You had most of them
Yeah, I kind
already.
of corrected them as we went.
Yeah.
Madman Curie is
Yep.
crazy.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. So
stealing.
19th century was a time of many great inventions and thoughts.
I like
highlighted thoughts just because I was like, there were some not so good ones too. So
I don't even again. That's such a crazy sentence. I don't even know how I would edit it.
I don't know either. I would
just be like, don't say that.
Yeah, if I'm an English teacher,
Nix
I'm
that
crossing the whole thing
Yeah.
out and saying,
Start again.
give me content, not emptiness.
Not
All right.
candy
So
floss.
the invention of the steamboat caused a network of rivers to spring up. You caught that one.
Oh yeah.
The McCormick raper, we already talked about that
Woof.
plenty. Samuel Morse invented a code of telepathy.
Uh-huh.
What did Samuel Morse invent?
What did he invent? He invented Morse code.
Right.
But
is that a code of telepathy?
Telecommunication? What are they trying to say?
I don't even know. But
Would
yeah,
it be-
it's a
Would
big.
it count as telecommunication?
Sure. Yeah, it's an
guess.
electrical signal, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, Morse code is just the clicks, right?
The clicks and the beeps and clicks.
Maybe he was trying to say telegram.
Oh, telegram. Yeah.
I don't know. But
Because
telegrams use
were
Morse code.
converted from Morse code to word. Yeah.
Okay, obviously, there still isn't a cure for rabbis, so
rabies.
Yeah, that's what he meant. I'm just putting a he on all of these because I can't imagine for a second that a female would ever write any of this crap.
I'm imagining it being like
it's all
first I was imagining it being kindergarten children. Then when you said I think high school and college, I'm like, oh, the football players.
Yeah, it's all pimply boys.
Yeah.
And then you caught the organ of the species from Darwin and Madman Curie and the Karl Marx thing. So yeah, you're
10 out of 10.
No, you're 8 for 8 there.
8 out of 8.
And now
the sentence.
The sentence.
Okay, I'm ready.
To cap this whole thing off, this wins the award of the night for most errors in a single sentence.
Okay. Can you tell me how many there are? No, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
The First World War, caused by the assignation of the archduke by a serf, ushered in a new era in the annals of human history.
So the First World War, caused by the assassination of the Grand Duke,
Archduke
Ferdinand.
Yep.
What's next?
By a serf.
By a serf.
Ushered in a new era in the annals.
Era in the annals.
Yeah, there you go.
Of history.
Yeah, he actually was murdered by a Serb, not a serf.
Oh, a Serb. Okay, yeah.
So we're going to give you 4 out of 5 there. There were 5 errors in a single sentence.
In one sentence. I would even take issue with the intended meaning of the sentence they were trying to get at. I wouldn't say it ushered in a new era.
I would agree.
It's called a war.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
it's the same shit we've been doing.
It didn't usher anything in. It just started a war.
I would agree. Okay, let's see how many points you actually earned.
Gosh, guys, I'm so nervous.
Yeah. 4. Okay. So out of 79 total points, you got 74 and a half.
That's really good, guys.
You crushed this
test.
That's
a 4.0.
You crushed this test.
Oh my gosh. I'm so proud of myself because I'm really not a history gal.
No, you aren't. That's why I thought this would be fun.
It was fun. I really enjoyed that. I think that's like a fun, I think we should do stuff like that intermittently.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, I don't want to do that every week. It also took an hour.
It did take an hour, but it was a fun hour. It was a fun hour.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope you learned something.
Yeah, and we will get links.
Oh yeah.
When you post this one, so
I mean, if you check the descriptions of our past couple episodes, the links are in there. Educate yourself if you would like to.
Yeah, but you don't plan to educate yourself with the one that I used.
Oh.
That's not an education.
De-educate yourself with that one?
Yeah. Just
brain rot yourself?
Lol it.
Lol it, guys. Ugh. All right.
Yeah.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Ish.
Ish.
Yeah.
Love you.
See you guys.